And on top of that, it's assuming that if you just worked hard enough, if you just did all the things that they thought that you should do, that you shouldn't have any issues getting adequate health care. When, like in that previous video, I said I had an MRI scheduled for this afternoon and I had asked a friend and they were going to take me to it because I also have to take medication beforehand. That makes it where I can't drive myself there, in addition to having like a car that's undrivable right now. And literally right after I'd uploaded that video, I got a call from the tech who does the MRI stuff saying, I'm so sorry, but I have to cancel this because we normally have 2 MRIs working, one that has a 1.5 magnet and one that has a 3 magnet. You were scheduled to go in the 1.5 magnet. However, it's down and I'm not allowed to put people in it right now. And you can't go in the 3 magnet because according to your chart, you had heart surgery when you were young and had a shunt and then a shunt revision. And because it was the shunt was put in 1995 and the revision was in 2000, and I don't have the records or the information regarding if the shunt was fully removed or not. And it's so long ago that the hospital has cleared their like detail operation records from those things, unless you ask for them specifically and it's through like a different avenue, that they can't access that information either to see what that shunt was made up of, like what materials, if it's safe for the stronger magnet. And they also can't access to see like if it's still in your body. And they're like, well, can you ask your parents? Like, can you ask are there other people that have these records? I can't ask my parents. I don't speak to my parents. They were abusive and I'm no contact with them. And she's like, okay, that's like totally understandable. I don't want to ask you to do something that you can't do. And so my options then were to call the scheduling line, which I ended up doing, calling the scheduling line in tears. And originally they told me the first time I would be able to get one was 2 to 3 weeks out. And I was like, I think that this was supposed to be urgent. I mean, they called me on Thursday and got me an appointment all the way on Friday. Like, I have lesions that they found in my brain and they need a better picture of them to know what's going on with my brain. And so then the poor lady on the phone, like with scheduling, was looking everywhere trying to get me one, and she did manage finding one location that had one, because I brought up I'd been to that location that had the lower magnet, and she was able to get me scheduled there for tomorrow. But of course it's scheduled for a time that originally I was supposed to have therapy today, but then I had to reschedule therapy to be tomorrow because it was scheduled when I was supposed to have this MRI. So after doing that, I then get this where I'm now having to reschedule my MRI to be tomorrow. And of course, the only time they have available is when I had rescheduled my therapy to. So now I'm trying to schedule therapy to be moved back. And if I can't do that, that means that because of their fuck up, I am now going to be out of the cost of my therapy because I still have to pay if I have to cancel within 24 hours. I also will be out of the cost of my time because I took this afternoon off from work to go get this done again, since I was going to have to take a medication that makes me unable to do anything besides just lay still. I obviously can't be on the clock working. Like, I'm not going to come back and do work, and I'm also not going to do work before my appointment. And also, it stole my friend's time, the friend who had scheduled time out of their day to come pick me up and drive me what was going to be the 40 minutes to this appointment, then an hour while I had the appointment, and then the 40 minutes back to my house, and then they still had to go home afterwards. Like, I did everything right, and they still fucked it up and had the audacity to call me and cancel it an hour before it was supposed to happen. An hour before I would have been leaving for that appointment. And this is like not an uncommon thing. Stuff like this happens, and I understand that it's for like my safety that they can't put me in there, more like to avoid a lawsuit, you know. It still is like that you postponed me getting access to care because of this mistake that was made. And whether it's that the machine broke or this tech was told for whatever reason they're not allowed to be using the machine right now, it doesn't really matter. This was not caught, and I was still put in there and it wasn't caught till almost right before I was supposed to go. And then I'm lucky that I was able to get this appointment because she was telling me that this is one of the most backed up they've ever been for MRIs that she's ever seen in her time working at IU Health trying to schedule them. And I'm lucky that the day that they're able to reschedule for is a weekend, because that means that my spouse can drive me himself. And so my friend doesn't have to do it. But like, that doesn't mean she didn't lose this afternoon. Like, she didn't plan other things that she was possibly going to be doing at that time. And I guess she can reschedule, but it's like, I could still have done everything right, and still my appointment could be canceled on me last minute. And I just have to be okay with that. And all the consequences of the time lost, the pay lost, the other things I have to schedule or reschedule to be able to get into this because they made a mistake in their scheduling originally.